Okay, Kyle, what can I do for you?
This is called a cross-generation interview, so
Okay.
I'm supposed to interview someone who's a generation or two older than me.
A generation or two. How
Yeah.
long is a generation?
I don't know. I guess however old my
So,
dad is.
am I old enough to be your grandpa? I'm 68.
Oh, I'd say so, yeah.
So, do you
I'm
have
21,
So
so.
how old is your grandparent?
My grandma is, I think she's in her late 60s too.
Okay.
Yep.
So I guess that's
My parents are both early 40s.
That would be two generations. Then,
Yeah.
So.
Perfect.
Okay.
The first question I have for you is just, what is your full name?
My full name and my rank and serial number. My full name is Neil, Neil, Martin, Martin, Skov, Skov.
Alright.
Okay.
And what year were you born in?
1946.
Do you know of any significant historical event that happened that year, by
that
chance?
Year,
Anything?
in 1946, I wasn't too aware of what was going on
Well,
in the
no.
world in 1946. What happened? It was a year after the World War II ended.
Yeah.
So, that year was probably most remarkable because they had so many soldiers coming back, and the U.S. economy had to switch from a wartime economy to producing commercial goods and building houses for all the new families that were developing, etc. A year or two after that, the significant event was though I was unaware of it, is that Mao Zedong took over China. The Chinese became a communist government, which variations of that still exist. A couple of years after that, the Korean War started, and I can remember my dad listening on the radio to broadcasts about what was happening in Korea. The first really historical thing I can remember is probably, which as I told, she asked me a similar question, is the launch of Sputnik. Have you ever heard of Sputnik?
No, but I heard you talking about it. It's a satellite,
it's
right?
It's the first artificial satellite that was put up.
That's interesting.
First success of getting something in orbit. It wasn't a very big thing. It was like they launched a metal grapefruit, or they launched a bowling ball with a radio transmitter in it that would beep.
Yeah. Are there any other interesting events that have happened during your lifetime that are noteworthy? I'm sure there's a bunch.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a bunch.
A lot of people my age will tell you they remember where they were when President Kennedy was killed.
Right.
And so, as I told her, I can still picture the room and where I was sitting in the room. We were in a world literature class, and it's a senior year of high school in English.
Yeah.
But I remember where I was when Martin Luther King was killed,
Oh, yeah.
when Bobby Kennedy was assassinated. I remember where I was when Richard Nixon announced that he was going to resign.
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting in a parking lot in East Grand Forks, North Dakota, in my car waiting for my wife to come out of a fabric store.
Oh.
I can remember where I was when President Reagan, somebody tried to assassinate President Reagan. That guy is still trying to get out of jail. I was just talking about him. And I don't know, do you remember where you were when the planes were crashed into the Twin Towers?
I sure do. I was at my babysitter's house in their basement watching the news with them because it was a big thing, and we were all kind of watching it, seeing what. It was the first time I'd seen it on the news where they showed the footage of the plane crashing into the side of the building.
So how was that for somebody that was your age at the time?
Well, I was only, third grade maybe?
Yeah.
And maybe second grade even. But I didn't really understand like what the Twin Towers were or anything. or even what terrorism is, but
Yeah.
it still seems like a pretty big deal to me.
Yeah.
So
It was so some of these other things were similar in scope at different times. Anyway.
Yeah. So I guess we'll stay on the history topic.
Okay.
Is there any sort of like inventions or a lot of technology changes from like your childhood to now, or what are things that you've kind of been introduced to?
A lot of technology
Yeah.
changes.
Some of the biggest things, maybe.
I have a box in the other room of artifacts from the history of computing.
That's neat.
Before we remodeled this building, we had a display cabinet that I